My department knows I'm here. When I don't report in, they will retaliate. Oh dear me! I'm terribly sorry. The 4th generation SsangYong Korando. It's supposed to be a big improvement on the previous Mark III Korando. But can Korea really do? Should you care? Why? Let's find out, shall we? Korando? Come on!
Here we are with anchors tying us to what we'll call home, even if the sight of it has not yet touched our eyes. And here we are and we're together, even if we are apart. And we're together when we're together, something big is happening among us. It's not as if we don't have to deal with our shortcomings. It's not as if we don't have to wipe away the tears. From time to time we wouldn't lie.
So welcome to a very special episode of Tweed Jacket Reviews. Not only because we are filming this wonderful 2019 SsangYong Korando Ultimate Automatic, but also because it's a diesel. Now I know we don't very often talk about diesels on the channel, but when the Korando was launched last year, this 4th generation one anyway, the launch fleet were actually all diesel anyway, so you know, we're very privileged to be offered this car for review by Platinum SsangYong in Frome in Somerset, and we're driving around the grandstay of the Orchardley Golf Club, which is absolutely beautiful. I'd probably recommend you come here as well. So thanks, Platinum. So the SsangYong Korando, and Korando really does stand for Korea Can Do, was first launched in 1983. That car was a variation of some very, very long lasting descendant of the Willys Jeep, and the next 2 models in the line, one which looked quite unusual, designed by Ken Greenlee, and then the next one, which was the C300 type of set of Korando, were very long lasting. The last generation of the Korando, the C300, lasted from about 2010 and all the way till last year, and actually you still can buy one of those brand new at Platinum SsangYong if you're interested in that. But this is a very different type of car in character. It's much more luxurious, it's a little bit bigger, and in this top of the range car, it definitely feels like everything has had a lift in quality. The location for the press launch of this car was actually Blenheim Palace in Oxfordshire, and you know, you can really tell for something like that how serious a manufacturer is about the sort of people they want to target with the car. And in this ultimate diesel 2-wheel drive car, which costs in the region of £32,000 new, it really can cut it with the best, and that's something quite remarkable. So with this C300 generation of Korando, there are 4 trims to choose from. The bottom of the range is now called the ELX, that used to be the top trim a few years ago. Then there is Ventura, then there is Pioneer. Pioneer is more aimed at a very traditional type of Korando buyer who was actually towing, and that's got a full-size spare wheel, I believe, and also a conventional handbrake, and it's only available with a diesel engine and an automatic gearbox like in this car. And then the top of the range is the Ultimate. Now, being the owner of a Tivoli Ultimate myself, I can firmly tell you that once you've tasted the Ultimate, you never want to go down. So if I was going to drive the Korando, this would be my choice, probably with the petrol engine and the manual gearbox, because you know, as I said, we don't talk about diesels much on this channel, but nevertheless, this is a really lovely car. The engine's available in the Korando, apart from this 136 brake horsepower diesel. It's a 1.6 litre. It's a evolution actually of the diesel engine that's been in the Tivoli since 2015. Are a 1.5 litre petrol with 165 brake horsepower. That's a brand new engine actually to SsangYong, and it's a very similar engine bizarrely to the one in the MG HS that you would have seen on the channel back in December. It generates exactly the same amount of power, and it's exactly the same size. I don't know what's going on there. They're not the same engine. They are different ones, but it just goes to show actually how some of the competitors in this market segment, which is very fiercely contended, have come up with the same ideas all at once. That's interesting. Now, we were going to get a petrol Korando on the channel. They're pretty rare actually at the moment, but we were going to get one. Unfortunately, we weren't able to film this particular one, which is why we're doing this diesel. But you know, for a diesel, it's very relaxing to drive. It's got plenty of low down torque, about 320 Newton meters for those of you who, you know, particularly like towing. It is a bit down on power and a bit down on torque from the previous generation Korando 2.2 diesel that was in the, you know, the last facelift of those. That was 178 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. But nevertheless, it's just an effortless car to drive. One thing I've been very surprised about is that this car doesn't crash over the bumps. It doesn't roll very much. For a tall car, and this is a reasonably tall car, it actually feels quite nice. I've driven the Hyundai Tucson and the Kia Sportage and the Seat Ateca, and although the Ateca is probably a little bit more car-like to drive, handling slightly better, because that's based on the platform of the Seat Leon after all, this is a bit more rugged, and it's certainly not agricultural in feel. It certainly doesn't roll as much as you'd expect. It's actually very quiet and composed and comfortable. Of course, because we've got the ultimate and we've got heated seats and cooled seats and all kinds of things in here, then you know, it does really help in that respect to make it feel even more luxurious and quiet. But I'm just very, very impressed with how this car feels. Now, there are different driving modes you can go into. At the moment I'm in normal, but I can go into sport mode, and sport mode will give me a little bit sharper throttle response for the automatic gearbox. One thing you don't get in something like an MG HS is the option of four-wheel drive, and in this Korando you do have the option at the two top trims anyway of having a diesel engine and four-wheel drive. It's only available with a diesel engine and automatic transmission, but nevertheless it is just a really good option for somebody who needs this capability, say in the winter, living out in the country. As you know, Frome is full of lovely countryside, and there's plenty of people I could see who would be very, very keen to get a car that's as capable as this for those winter months. But if you're someone like me and you live in a sort of suburban area, you don't need a diesel engine with all that torque, you don't need four-wheel drive, then you can just buy one of the petrol engine models, and the one at the bottom of the range, the ELX, with a petrol engine and a manual gearbox, is only £20,000. That's actually quite a bit less than the base model Kia Sportage or Hyundai Tucson. And of course, with any Korando these days, or any SsangYong indeed, you get a 150,000 mile 7-year warranty, and I think that's impressive. That's the longest warranty of any car that you can buy on sale today, which is absolutely remarkable. SsangYong have been a manufacturer these days that not a lot of people know about, and they are really increasing in popularity. The sales figures for July 2020 were pretty impressive actually, and I really think this car is worthy of your consideration if you're looking at that class that contains things like the Seat Ateca, the Hyundai Tucson, the Kia Sportage, the Skoda Karoq. I could go on and on, but one of these I think would really, really surprise a lot of people. maybe it's time for you to consider SsangYong where you never had before.
Here we are with anchors tying us to what we'll call home, even if the sight of it has not yet touched our eyes. And here we are and we're together.
What a cheerful noise to tell me that I've successfully arrived at my destination. This Smart 4 Korando is a really, really impressive car to drive. And I think it's going to be very practical too, but just to make sure, let's go and have a look in the boot. As you can see, on this top spec diesel automatic model, we have an electric tailgate. There's supposed to be some way where you stand by the rear of the car with the key in your pocket and it just opens, but I've been shown how to do it and I can't do it. I must be an idiot or something, but never mind. We've got this rear load blind, which looks a lot less sort of alien than it does in a Tivoli. The boot space in this car is 550 litres, with this movable boot floor in a down position. As you can see, you can actually have a luggage divider like this, and these parts on the side do come out as well if you need more space. In some of the Tivoli models, like the Pioneer, you actually do get a full-size spare wheel as well. In this particular car, we've just got a tyre inflation kit. It's certainly big enough for most of the family's needs, and certainly when you compare this to something like a Hyundai Tucson or a Kia Sportage, it beats both of them hands down. Stepping into the back of the Korando is remarkably straightforward. I'm 5'11" and this is my driving position, and I have acres of knee room, masses of headroom. I'm very glad we've got a light coloured interior car here, because it is a bit dark in here. I think definitely you want to opt for this if you don't want to feel claustrophobic. 12-volt socket down here, which is pretty standard for the class now. The seats are very comfortable. Obviously this is leather, given this is an Ultimate. Nice armrest with some cup holders. Doesn't make any squeaky noises like on an MG6. If you want to fold the rear seats down, you first of all just put this seat belt out of the way, just tuck it in there, and then you can actually recline or completely fold the seats down like that. And if you've got the boot floor in a high position, then they are completely flat for complete through loading. As you'd expect, the front seat of a Korando Ultimate is very, very luxurious. I love this beige leather interior. This is the colour combination I'd definitely choose if I were to have one of these cars. The controls have a really nice weight to them. Because this is an automatic model, we've got a drive mode selector here. This is a two-wheel drive model, so we don't have a four-wheel drive lever. But we've got sport and winter modes in addition to the normal mode that the transmission's in at the moment. And we've got every conceivable extra you can possibly imagine. I have hill descent control. I have a heated steering wheel. I have lane keeping assistant, an electric tailgate. We have the mood lighting that we'll show you in an insert with 34 different colours, which is wonderful. I have full digital instruments in this car, which are absolutely incredible. I mean, the beeps and things that go off, and just don't worry about those, but we can cycle through these at the moment and would show you just how many different things that you can have. You can have, just like in an Audi, a virtual cockpit setup where you could have the sat-nav directions right in the middle there. What that means though is you get these really interesting rev counter and speedometer controls, like something out of the Citroen GSA, which is remarkable. I would probably not choose that one myself. I'd probably go for a more traditional look like this one. The digital dials, by the way, are not on all the models. This being an Ultimate, we've got a 12-inch screen as well in the middle, and the 10.5-inch display here. We've got as well dual zone climate control, as you probably expect, heated and ventilated seats in this car, which keeps your posterior nice and chilled on a hot day. Keyless entry, and then the start-stop button here, USB and a 12-volt socket down there, automatic parking brake on the ELX and Pioneer models. You get a normal handbrake. This works okay for me because it's an automatic, but if it was a manual, I'd definitely want a normal handbrake. We've got this enormous big armrest here that you can shift back and forth and store your things in here. We've got something that looks like it would hold a small tablet upright in there, and just everything feels really nice. The steering wheel, similar to the one in my Tivoli Ultimate, but slightly different controls because this has got even more things on it. Cruise control, traffic jam assist, lane keeping assist, high beam assist, traffic sign recognition, you name it, it's got virtually everything. And there's a button here as well for opening the tailgate, but you can open that in so many different ways too. Automatic lights and wipers naturally, and of course, this being the automatic, we've actually got nice steering wheel paddles too. One of the things that makes this car feel very, very luxurious is the LED internal lighting, and that's something that I haven't seen for quite a long time. The glove box in this car is really big. We'll get the secret mission documents out in a second to be able to take a look at it properly, but that's nice and big, and I like the way that actually the beige colour of the seats continues onto the dashboard. In terms of safety, this car has a 5-star Euro NCAP safety rating, and in addition to all the other camera driven safety features that I've just mentioned, of course we've got dual front airbags, side and curtain airbags. We've also got traffic jam assist to tell you if the car in front of you is moving traffic jam, autonomous emergency braking, lane keeping assist, lane departure warning, all that kind of stuff. It just really does make you feel very, very reassured that if anything happens to you in this car, you're going to be okay. One of the things as well that I'm very reassured to see from my SsangYong Tivoli that I have is we've still got the remote control mirrors here that you can just lock and push into place with the key fob. That's brilliant. Automatic up and down front passenger and driver windows, which is brilliant. The switches actually feel even better than in a Tivoli. Tivoli don't feel bad, but these feel even better. The door panel feels very nice and luxurious. It would be nice to see some soft touch material on top of there as opposed to just on the dashboard, but I think I can live with that. Got the leather trim on here as well. Down here, the door pocket that will hold 2 bottles, one large, one small, and plenty of storage for other things. Yes, it just feels very, very well composed, very refined, and of course at the back of here we can see a little strip of mood lighting, and if you don't like that colour, there's 33 others to choose from as well. So here are my secret mission documents. Let's see if they fit in the glove box. I'm sure they will. Yep, perfect. And of course, if I take these out and put them in the door, they're going straight away too. One of the things I really like about this car, in addition to the fact that the seats in here are electric on this top spec Ultimate model, so you can get an ideal driving position. You've also got 4-way adjustable lumbar support too, is the fact that this is the best screen I've seen in a SsangYong. It's a huge, enormous thing. I think this is a 12-inch screen. It's not standard in all the cars. There obviously are other sizes available for bits further down the range, but it's a TomTom sat-nav system like in my Tivoli Ultimate. It's very, very easy to use. You just swipe across to get to whatever thing you need to get to, and if you want to go to setup, you can do whatever you want in that sort of thing. Go to settings and then back. To go home on here, we've got other things we can add on, and we can pair a phone via Bluetooth. Of course, got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, of course, not a problem to do things like that. Radio, of course, DAB radio standard, which for some reason SsangYongs for quite a long time didn't have. This is DAB as standard, and the graphics are really nice. It's a nice crisp display, and it's very, very simple to use. I would prefer physical buttons myself, just because that's the sort of person I am, but most people probably won't mind. And of course the little micro SD card for the sat nav just goes straight in there. Overall, it's a model of clarity and quality and high technology, and it really means this car is thoroughly worth taking a look at if you're after one in this segment. So then, what do I think of the C300 Korando, also known as the Mark IV Korando? This car is a real surprise for anyone who's not driven this size of SsangYong before. I think that loyal owners of the previous third generation Korando will like it, and so will people also looking for a car in this Kia Sportage and Hyundai Tucson class. It's very good value, it's very well equipped, it's very well made, it's very luxurious. One thing to bear in mind is this is quite an expensive option at the top end of the range, but it does start from £20,000. Oh, dear me, I'm terribly sorry. A little restless, but I got it eventually. Thank you for watching this episode of Tweed Jacket Reviews. My name is Joseph Lloyd, and I find cars for people on a professional basis. To find out more, please visit my website or my Facebook page. Links are in the description below. Thank you.